He made a decision that stunned us. He forced us to go meet with Lion. It was a mixture of uncomfortable, scary, and frustrating. Our teachers had no idea what had happened. After we got Lion arrested at the dorms, we thought it was over. We were wrong. So today's lesson is your voice might not fix the whole system, but it could save at least one life. The next morning, October 23rd, Kay and I were called in to meet a campus official that I'll call Cole. Cole had already read the written statements that we'd been told to make, but he asked us a number of questions on top of that. We told him more about our interactions with Lion and his threat to Kay, and after getting our side of the story, he went and spoke to Lion. We waited outside of an office until he'd asked Lion whatever he wanted to know. Then he forced us to go meet with Lion, which was awkward as hell. Lion apologized to us, basically saying that, yeah, he'd hurt people, but he wouldn't actually kill anyone. And then Cole dropped the bomb. After hearing our story and Lion's, he made a decision that stunned us. Lion was kicked out of the dorms, but allowed to stay on campus. No restraining order, no safety plan, just back to class with the rest of us. We were shocked and tried to argue that he shouldn't be allowed to stay on, but Cole would not have it. We couldn't believe we were still expected to share classrooms with someone who'd made death threats and assaulted students. We even saw that the QC newspaper has a crime log for each week, but that week's paper didn't mention this at all, as though the school wanted to pretend this whole incident had never even happened. After that, Kay and I had to see him in class every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the rest of the school year, both fall and spring semester. It was a mixture of uncomfortable, scary, and frustrating. We didn't speak to him, and he didn't speak to us, although he sure gave us some dirty looks. To this day, I believe that Whittier College made the wrong move and put all of us in continued danger and left several of us anxious all year because of it. Luckily, we avoided him as best we could, and I believe he transferred schools at the end of the year, but the faculty was not informed of what had happened. So that whole year, there was a chance that Kay and Lion were assigned as partners for a group project because our teachers had no idea what had happened. In fact, there was even a time when one of our professors asked us, "What's going on? Why does it seem like this side of the room is scared of that side of the room?" Not realizing what had happened. On top of that, the woman who'd been scared of what else Lion might do to her, she had to spend that entire year seeing her physical abuser around campus. I don't know if anything else happened to her or not. She never came forward about her experiences with him. And if he physically assaulted anyone else, that was never made public either. But because Cole was our only point of contact and the main decision maker in this situation, I honestly hoped that he would be fired or quit so that the campus could become a safer place for students. This was kind of foreshadowing, as it turns out, because less than 2 years after that, he was called out in a campus news article for saying expulsion for sex offenders was akin to the death penalty in higher education. He preferred not to expel these students from campus and let them stay on. This wasn't just about Lion, this was about how the school handled problems on campus in general. To be honest, the only reason I feel comfortable revealing any of this is that his stance on all these issues is so well documented and has been reported on so many times, it's all publicly available information. Personally, I can say I know at least 3 women who were sexually assaulted by other Whittier College students. One assaulter was suspended and then allowed to return. Another was allowed to finish his semester before moving to a different campus. And the other was a teacher's assistant in the business department who got no punishment at all. So Cole's policy infuriated me the entire time he was there. At the end of the day, Cole wasn't protecting students, he was protecting the school's image. And if this is how a small liberal arts college handled threats, violence, and abuse, imagine what's being covered up at larger schools with more money and more secrets. I learned this the hard way. Students might be brave enough to come forward, but if the institution doesn't back them up, the danger doesn't disappear. It gets to come right back. Honestly, I'm curious what other people think of this situation. Did we make the right choices? Did we do the right things? Did we tell the right people? Was there something else we should have done instead? Was there something that we could have done differently in how we approached this? I don't know. I always kind of wonder what would have happened if we had handled things differently. Would things have continued to get worse? Would things have resolved in some way? It didn't seem like it. I think I'll always wonder whether I would have been an accessory to a murder because he had told me what he was going to do beforehand. If I hadn't stepped in, would he have done it? I don't know. But seeing how easy it was for him to hurt other people, it made me think that he probably would have. I do think that we did the right thing because now there was a focus on him. It had been documented by the school's administration that he was someone capable of violence and willing to commit death threats. So if he actually did something worse, at least it was already documented. At least there was already some record of this having happened in the past. I think I'm always going to wonder about the circumstances surrounding this, the situation, and what was really in people's hearts and minds throughout this whole thing. But we did the best that we could given the situation. Overall, in my first semester of college, I found myself dealing with a lot more than I expected to. But if you think that was the end of campus chaos, wait until next week to hear how public officials almost forced us to fail a class. I realized it's been a very serious couple of episodes here, so I thought maybe I'd end on something a little bit funnier so that, you're in high spirits leaving it. So let me tell you a quick story time. One of my friends really just wasn't feeling it with this woman that he had been talking to, and they had, I think, maybe made out at one point, but it just wasn't going the way he wanted it to. So he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, so I want to tell this girl that I'm not trying to see her anymore. I want to do it in a good way, a kind way. I want to do something it's not you, it's me kind of scenario." But he didn't want her to walk away crying or anything like that. So he was like, "Well, why don't I try to make it a little bit funny?" So what he does is he goes up to her and he says, "Hey, can we talk real quick? I just wanted to let you know, I'm just not really feeling this, and I think we should move on, see other people. And, it's not you, it's a me, a Mario." And then he ran off. And that was the last time they ever spoke. So, there's a quick little ending story for you. Hope that cheered you up a little bit after some serious episodes. Bye for now.